What's going on, everybody? Back with part 2 of this Jalen Ramsey interview. Without further ado.
So they took advantage of them opportunity. But the T Higgins one, I wasn't tripping off that. That should have been OPI, but so I wasn't even tripping off that one. I got to the sideline and I was.
He said he wasn't tripping on the T Higgins pass interference. Why wouldn't you be tripping on that? That you gave up a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Could it be because you knew it was part of the script?
But then, after the drive went by, I'm like, I started laughing about it. Honestly, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, it ain't nothing I can do. Right. I'm like, that's crazy. That really happened in the Super Bowl. Like,
you heard him? He said there's nothing he can do because it's part of the script. You got to listen to the shit he says in between the words. Listen to the message between the words.
Right. Everybody watching. I'm like, that happened in the Super Bowl. I was for real laughing like, yo, that happened in the Super Bowl. Like, you guys going on, bro? Well, you guys going on in the Super Bowl.
And we talked to Raheem Morris.
Oh, yeah.
We sit down with Raheem and hopefully that we tore his house up. We gonna tear your house up because
you already tore it up, coach.
Bro, I already spilled a drink on your floor, but I cleaned it up though, because that's real wood. I thought that was laminate.
No, that's the real wood.
That's real wood there, yeah. When I was rubbing my drink, that's not laminate. So when we talked to Raheem, you talking about matchups. Do you ever say you want to travel?
Oh,
like, do you ever tell Raheem Morris or whoever your DC is, like, put me wherever their best receiver is, because people gonna run from you?
Mm-hmm. So actually, it goes a little bit different. So that's how the year starts. Well, I'll take it back. The year started off like, hey, Rob, I want to play star. Don't put me out there at corner unless we in base. By the way, I just want to put this out there. I met a young Jalen Ramsey at ESPN, right? We doing the whole draft thing, right? We talking. So RC, I'm about to drop knowledge, right? I say, look, man.
About to school him.
I'm about to school him, you know what I'm saying? I watched all the film. I say, young Jalen, First off, I'm looking up talking to him because I'm not very big.
This fucking big as
This
motherfucker's huge.
So I'm saying, I was like, hey, man, listen, if they want to put you inside and then you play the star and you play a little safety, whatever, like, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, man, on trip. Straight up tells me, no, I'm a corner. I was like, I know that. I said, but what I'm saying is, if you do all this other stuff, you can be one of the best to ever do it. Like, you need to be around the football. So I'm happy that once you got out of Jacksonville, you finally got to a place you can be around the rock.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Getting out of Jacksonville.
Before you go there, just go back to 2016, coming into the league. The 5th pick in 2016 in Jacksonville. What was your the memories of your draft day and being selected that high? What did that feel like?
Top 5, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to really be living life, honestly. Right. But I'm hot. And I'm hot because, well, two things. It's like a whole sequence of events that led up to this moment, right? So, if you remember the Tennessee Titans, they had the number 1 pick that year. And they had traded that pick to the Rams because the Rams offered them, a couple first rounders, whatever. They was moving to LA. They wanted Jared Goff. They wanted a quarterback. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm finna go number 1 for real. Like, I'm like that. Man, I took a visit to Tennessee, but this was before they had traded the pick.
So you was gonna be home?
I was gonna be home.
Right.
Like, yo, I remember when I took my visit, we went out to eat, and we was in a restaurant. Like 3-4 people came up to me, like from the crib, like, man, we hope they draft you number 1. You come back to the crib. I'm like, man, they gotta set me up good.
You started thinking, I'm gonna go number 1.
Yeah, I'm like, man, the crib set me up good. So then, boom, they traded the pick to the Rams, and I'm like, all right, I ain't going there. They don't need me. I'm like, I ain't going 2. They don't need me.
Right.
So honestly, my mind was set on 3, 4. So, like, that's my motivation. I want to be the first defensive player taken off the board. So the Chargers, they wanted me to play safety, though. And even though I didn't really want to play safety, I just wanted to be the first defensive player off the board.
Right.
That's where I wanted to initially go. Just because of that simple fact. Because at the time, that was like before Miles, the report came out.
So that should tell you right there that he's a selfish player. Like, why does it matter? Like, why does that really matter? Is that really gonna really matter? It's all about selfishness. It's all about individual accolades. Like, really, most players don't care about that. They just want to be drafted. Like, who cares? Like, if you're not number 1, then it doesn't matter after that. Like, if you know what I mean? So it's kind of selfish that to go care about 3 then 4. It doesn't make that much of a difference. And it really shows, too.
Not that Miles Jack knee was hurt because he was in that conversation, too. It was like Miles Jack, Jalen Smith, Joey Bosa, and myself were like in that conversation. Who's going to be the first defensive player taken off the board? And I just wanted to be, that was really the only reason. But if it didn't happen, I'm like, yo, I always grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, really, like Titans and Cowboys.
Right.
So if I go forward, that's like for real dream come true. And I remember when I was on my visit to Dallas, they told me, like straight up to my face, like if you there at 4, we taking you. It was like, we don't think you're gonna be there at 4. They said we think they're gonna get you at 3, but if you there at 4, if you on that board, we taking you. And I thought where it was bond, I'm like, I'm gone then. If I'm there at 4, I'm there. That's really think I was gonna be there at 5 because I remember sitting in the GM office in my Jacksonville visit. And he said, you think he asked me? He said, you think you're gonna be there at 5? I said, nah, respectfully, nah, I don't think I'm gonna be there.
Right.
He said, me either. He said, it's tough to trade up, but we may try.
Right.
I was like, all right.
So you knew you weren't falling past Jacksonville, though?
Nah, no chance.
Right.
No chance. But if it came down to it, I was hoping that I thought 6, because that was the Ravens. And, they got the defensive mindset, so they were like, dang. But no, I knew I wasn't going. I really didn't think I was going to fall past 4. After the Cowboys told me that, I'm like, man, 4 for sure.
Right.
So then, man, we get to the draft. I know I ain't going 1 or 2, them the quarterbacks. So 3 happened. I'm like, I'm feeling away. Really, I'm like I should have really been the first defensive player taken off the board. But it's cool, whatever. So
Most are a dog now.
A dog,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
My table was right here, me and my moms and pops and my fam. And Zeke's table was right next to ours. So all the cameras was on me and Zeke. I remember like whole bunch, about 20 cameras. About 10 on me, 10 on Zeke. We sitting there. And my moms knew that's where I wanted to go, and that's who I was sitting by. We was like whispering to each other. And then
What a big mistake that was for Dallas. I bet they wish they had Jalen instead of Zeke. Zeke had like 2-3 good years, and then he's hit a wall.
in an instant, and 10 cameras over at my table, they all went. They went to Zeke's table. And me and my mama looked at each other, and she gave me like a little frown or something, and I had just like did one of these, and I was like, don't make no emotions or nothing, the camera's gonna be on.
Right.
And she said something like, wow, like that's crazy or something, or something like that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then as soon as they announced his pick, my phone started ringing 904, and I knew, like immediately, like right when they announced him, my phone started ringing 904. It was Jacksonville. So that's why I was mad. I was mad because I didn't go 3 or 4, not because of Jacksonville in particular.
Right. Correct.
Because I had built that extra little motivation in my mind that was going to challenge me.
So were you excited to be still in the state of Florida, not too far away from Tallahassee?
Now once it like settled in, like that night, I ain't gonna lie, that night I ain't go out, I ain't do nothing, because I was really mad. I was real deal mad. That's how I do. Like immediately the motivation started in my mind like that night. Like,
right.
Man, we ain't partying, we ain't doing none of that. We let's get to business. In the morning we're gonna get on this flight 6 a.m. We in Jacksonville, whatever.
See, I think right now you're painting a picture for every young player, or anyone actually, that when they see Jalen Ramsey, they see how you talk trash, you're competitive, and you wear your heart right here on the outside of your shirt, right? I think now what you're saying in this entire interview is that you're so extremely hard on yourself. You take nothing for granted. So I think now you're allowed.
Just like every other player in the NFL, I'm literally getting sick of this. Like, why are they like on his balls so bad? Like every NFL player is like that. Well, most of them. 80% of the NFL players are this way. 20% of them are just for the money. You know what I mean? So this is not something they should even be talking about.
Them to get closer to you, so they can paint the picture, or you paint the picture for them, to really just hey, look, I'm going to be the best ever.
Man, honestly, I'm hard on myself like that. And sometimes, like, my friends and family tell me not to be, like, relaxed on myself or whatever. But I'm hard on myself like that, honestly, because I ain't gonna lie, like, God done for real blessed me, for real.
That's
Like,
true.
he done took his time on me, like, really blessed me, like, gave me all the gifts that I can even imagine.
Right.
So I'm like, if I don't do my part, like, to the fullest that I can do it, I'm talking about work hard,
Right.
like, give it everything I got, I feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm letting him down. Like I'm cheating him. If I don't develop all the gifts he done given me into like elite skills and be one of the best, I'm cheating.
Is this something that me and Freddie talked about when we knew we was gonna get you on, where you saw Jacksonville and you saw the bigger picture of what's going on? Fred stayed there for what, 11 years?
11.
11 years and wasted his damn career away, losing. And you.
I don't understand how he did that. Fred Taylor, this guy was an animal. For him to just waste his career and not ask for a trade, I can't even believe he did that. And he's still not a Hall of Famer, so you really pay for the places you play.
You saw what was going on, and your ass said, "I gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
See,
I just like,
this is the thing I was trying to tell him.
yeah,
Right? You know, everyone makes the decision what they feel is best for them, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't have the leverage, you know, in different times in my career to leave because of certain injuries I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told RC, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush in terms of dollars. I never wanted to test free agency. When they offered me an opportunity to get a second deal, I jumped at it because I come from nothing. I said, I got to make sure my people good.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to risk, you know, playing this last year and not having guarantees in place, you know, to try to chase free agency. So I stayed in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, for me, this is just for me. I can't.
We all know that him staying in Jacksonville and not testing free agency, that was probably the worst decision he could have made. Because we all know free agency pays you way more than your own team ever possibly could.
Speak on Jay.
yeah.
My-
Jay hit it, bro. Jay hit it.
Nah, he did what
Jay
was
told
right.
him kiss his ass. He wants to
Damn
go
Jackie
somewhere.
Robinson.
Yeah. Jay was like, "No, I ain't gonna sit here and let y'all bastards." Yeah.
A great decision. And for me, I think my decision was great. In hindsight, I'm in the Ring of Honor. That you can never, as long as the Jaguars exist,
Yeah.
my name's gonna forever
That's
be
real.
in the Jaguars Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor.
That's real, bro.
And it's synonymous to, whether it depends on who's saying it, I'm the greatest player in that franchise history.
100%.
You are.
So that was
You
my
and-
decision.
You,
agree.
you and Tony
Which was a great
Baselli,
decision.
isn't it?
And Bo, yeah.
You
well,
and
hands
Tony
down.
Baselli.
And then Jimmy Smith, too.
Right, so
But that was his decision. And initially, I was like, damn, what's going on in Jacksonville? I'm like, how do you let him go? You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm
Jay,
trying to figure it
that
out.
has to
You
be a story to
forced that. What happened in Jacksonville? Jacksonville, you had a lot of stuff going on. You fight with coaches, like it's all out there, bro. What happened in Jacksonville?
coaches, GMs, everybody.
You was fighting with that. What happened in Jacksonville?
That's one of the first places that I've ever been in that I don't feel valued, for real. It was weird and it was frustrating.
And why would you be surprised by this? This is something everyone knew before you got there. Like, if anything, you should have known this and been trying your hardest to get out of there since day one. If anything, you should have tried draft day to get traded out of there. Because what do you think? You're one person, you're going to change the entire culture? I mean, you could change a little bit, but it takes more than one cornerback to change the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And it got to a point where, like, it just started piling up. And we wasn't winning. And they didn't want to pay me early. So all of that put together was like, man, so what am I here for? Like, what am I here wasting my time for?
And you had them conversations with them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I ain't scared of no smoke, no confrontation. We gonna have, man, to grow, you need confrontation sometimes. I value relationships. I really do value relationships. So I think to grow relationships, sometimes you gotta have them type of conversations, and you gotta go through something with people. That's what happened. Really, the one person I never really got to have a relationship with at all was Tom Coughlin, and at the time,
Tom Coughlin doesn't have relationships with any of his players. Even it took Michael Strahan until his end of his career to finally get Tom Coughlin to listen to him. So that's really not a surprise. That's kind of weird to me.
he ran all that. He ran all that. I'm talking about everything, every part of everything. He ran all that. Other than that, I had good relationships with my coaches. Like even Doug, like people saw the scuffle with me and Doug, the Houston game before I requested the trade, but
You're scuffling with your coaches. Like, that's really all you have to say. Like, why are you scuffling with your coaches? It's fake football.
Me and Doug cool. Like, Doug and my oldest daughter got the same birthday. I promise you, every year Doug texts me on her birthday. Be like, tell your daughter I say happy birthday. I be like, man, appreciate the same to you, whatever. Like, my DB coaches, talk to all of them. Every DB coach I've ever had in the league, ever had in Jacksonville, talk to all of them. The last one, Coach Walt, he at Ohio State now. He just called me 2 days ago. Like, I talked to all of them. Defensive coaches, like, I got love with all the coaches and everybody. It was really just Tom Coughlin. And then
What was it about Tom Coughlin that
he didn't care to try to have no relationship. It was just, you know, it was just,
That's the game.
It was my way or the highway.
Yeah,
Like,
TC was my coach for 5 years.
yeah.
Well, you RB1 and you were CB1.
Yeah, 100%.
But
That's how football is, though, fellas.
But man, relationships matter.
Yeah.
And the players matter. The people matter. So if you make a player, especially your top players, feel like they ain't nothing, like that's not gonna go well for you at all. And that's how the vibe was around there. Just like, man, we can get another Jalen. So it got to a point where I was like, prove it then. If that's how y'all feel about me, if y'all don't value me like that, if that's how y'all feel about me, it's coming from the top. So then it's starting to trickle down. Now me and the GM got beef because now the GM don't want to have conversations. Me and him had always talked, been able to have conversations, or whatever. And then you know, all of a sudden now we don't even get to have conversations. Like, he'll see me in the hallway and say hi to me, and then 30 minutes later he'll call my agent and say something about me, and my agent will call me, and I'll be like, I just saw him in the hallway. He said hey to me, like, but now we don't even talk. We don't even want to. All right.
That's the NFL for you. It's a business. If that didn't show you right there what everything was all about, then I don't know what to tell you, my guy.
So if y'all don't value me, and then it got to it literally just kept trickling down. Like, it got to the point where it just kept getting worse. It got to the point where, like, we going into meetings and stuff, and they talking about, like, you know, I always had the hardest matchups or whatever it may have been. I guard D-Hop 2 times a year. We talking about D-Hop. Yeah, I got the hardest matchups. I'm going against the number 1 receiver, and they talking like say I'm guarding AB, whatever, right? Yeah, we know AB gonna make some plays. We're gonna try to limit him a little bit with Jalen. What are you talking about? I've never heard none of my. What are you talking about? We know he gonna make plays. How about, like, no, we know they got AB. He a dog. We know that for sure. But we like our matchup.
right?
Like, we gonna put Jalen on him, and it's done. Like, it ain't no conversation need to be had. You don't need no help. You don't need none of that. Like, that's how we talk with the Rams.
Did it
like,
change though? Was it once like that though? Like, at one point, was it?
No, it was never like
they
that.
had was at one point though they had AB and they felt like, okay, we got Jalen. Like, when y'all on y'all run to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, it was still never like that.
Really?
Never like that. But the one thing that that made it a little bit better is we was winning.
Right. How bad was your back? How bad?
Just now recovering, really.
How bad was the back injury that kept you out in Jacksonville before you got traded?
Man, just now really recovering.
So you were cornerback 1 with a back injury in the Super Bowl run. I'm just putting the puzzle together.
Nah, in the Super Bowl, man, this year I sprained both my AC joints. Crazy. Both of them. So I played half the year, probably 10 games with 2 AC joints sprained. Both of them gone. I'm talking about on Mondays, I used to be like,
Shannon.
And walking up on the one
Hey,
every
Shannon,
play.
Shannon, you missed what I was asking you. If you don't remember, when everything went on in Jacksonville, when Jalen was asking to be traded, he couldn't play because his back was hurt.
And that's how the NFL messes you over with injuries. We're going to stop over here, guys. We'll continue on the next part, next video.